podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
We got Sabretooth, who's, you could call him the team captain, and he's really kind of the leader of the group, and going out and so-called fighting crime, so to speak. We've got other characters, like our Cinnamon, Brownie, and Flame, and similar things. It's all about doing good and trying to bring people up and really make them think about positive things and think about doing well, and that's what our game's all about.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, thank you, and welcome to Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. Tonight we're lucky enough to have Jared King on, the creator and mastermind behind Brownie Points, a card game now on the Kickstarter. Is that where you fit in? You're the mastermind and creator of this game?
That's right. Yeah, the mastermind behind it. And, I can't take full credit of creating the game. My wife and my kids really, helped out a lot, and so, it's kind of been a family effort.
Let's see here. So what inspired you to create Brownie Points?
It dates back a couple years ago. Actually, we were working on a relationship app called Brownie Points, and just 5-6 months ago, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I really, my family loves games. We love Friday night game nights, and I'm always trying to tweak games, because I never feel like that they're done exactly how they should be, or there's some elements to it that I wish that it had. And when we had our Brownie characters, I just felt like that there was really something that we could do with it. And I just came home one day, and my wife and I, we pulled out all of our games that we love, and we sat around writing down all the things that we like about it, all the things we don't like about it, and then brought back in our characters into it, like the doghouse and things like that that were in our app, and how we could implement that into a game. And just as we started talking 3-4 hours later, we got our original concept of the game. We figured out what the doghouse meant, what it could do, and we made some demo cards and started practicing and brought our kids into it, and so that's really how it started. It's kind of a weird concept to go from a relationship app to a card game, but we tried to really bring some good elements of what we were doing in the app into the game, and I think we've done that, and so far people really enjoy it.
Cool beans. So I was going to ask about the app. So what can you tell us about the application? I know this is about the game, but what can you tell us about the application to those who might not have heard of it? I know I haven't.
Yeah, so the Brownie Points app, which is still in development, and hopefully within this year we'll get it released. But it's really goes back to the concept of everybody hears the term brownie points, right? So you do something good, hey, you earn brownie points, and we really want to do something with that. And so with this app, if you do good deeds, whether it's for your spouse or your kids, whatever you want, you do something good, and immediately you can award them actual brownie points. And as you collect these points, you can then cash them in from a database of things that you guys set up. For example, let's say you have 10,000 brownie points in your account, and you and your spouse have set up to where 1,000 of those points could equal going golfing. And so you can cash those in and go golfing with your buddies, no questions asked, kind of a thing. And the wife can do the same thing. And it's also a good thing with your kids. They're doing chores around the house, and they can earn brownie points as well. And you can set up rewards for them. And so it's kind of a concept of a reward concept for you and your family, or whoever really you want to set up it with, so that you can earn points, cash them in, and kind of like a new allowance type system, but a lot more fun.
Well, yeah, that sounds really cool. I know my kids are kind of glued to the iPad, and especially my one son, Barbarian Leaf. That might be awesome for him. So where will we find this? Is it available on Android and iTunes?
It will be. Like I said, it's still in development, so it's nothing released yet. But as soon as we do release it, it'll be on Android and on the Apple Store.
Okay, so I imagine, is the game going to be released beforehand, or are you going to finish the Kickstarter? What are the plans for the application?
Yeah, so the game is, that's what's funny is the game really came together really fast. And like I said, about 5-6 months ago. And so we're pushing the game first. The game's going to come out our Kickstarter, has been launched and it ends in about 27 days. And if we get funded, we'll, go from there and get everything out, and then we'll get back onto the app, and then hopefully we can get that app, done within, the next 8 to 12 months. So it'll be available. But what's interesting is with our game, to try to keep things, in the app world, we created what's called our Brownie Point scorecard, and it's where you can keep track of your points by playing the game through an app. And so you can play with your friends. It actually syncs up. Whoever's playing, bring out your phones. You can sync it up so you're all playing on the same scorecard. And after each round, you enter in your points, and it keeps track for you. It trends, up and down, placement wise. But then it also keeps your points in a data bank, and that's what we're going to also use once the relationship app is out. They'll sync up together. And what's cool is we have a worldwide board along with a friend board, and so you can really stack up to see how you're doing brownie points wise with the rest of the world. So it's pretty cool.
Cool beans. So you said the inspiration behind the game was the application. Where did the inspiration come from behind the application, or from both of them?
So, the whole thing started, actually it was a Monday morning. A buddy of mine, were just talking on the phone, going over what happened on our weekend. And I just told him all the things I was doing around the house, and he said, "Man, you must have earned a lot of brownie points." And I said, "Yeah, I wish I could cash them in." And we had about a 2 to 3 hour conversation right then and there about an app and what we wish it could do, and it just started from there. And it grew into what it is today. And so it's it's just off of a just general conversation. So it's kind of fun.
Well, there you go. So enough about your application. You have a new game on the Kickstarters. What can you tell us about it, Jared?
Yeah, so we launched on Kickstarter a couple days ago, and this game is it's one of those that is fast-paced. It's got twists and turns all over the place, and one thing I don't like about games is, especially card games, is when it's not your turn, you're kind of waiting around. You're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, waiting for it to come back around to you. And for me, I get bored, and and so when I play games, I want them to be fast. I want them to be, you're always engaged. And so with this game, you are. And with what's called the Brownie Point Slap Attack, when somebody plays some cards down, if you have the exact same thing in your hand, you can smack the table and yell brownie points and immediately take the hand. And anybody can do it at any time. So you skip people's turns. And so every hand, you're engaged. You're wondering what's going on. And with the doghouse card, if somebody plays the doghouse card, everybody else has to give you their highest card. And so your hand is always changing. And so that was an element to the game that was really important to us, is, no hand is safe, and your hand is always changing to where you can never rely on what you have, and you're never stuck with what you have. And you're always drawing cards, you're always losing cards. And so it makes it to where you can't really, save up for anything in particular, because in a matter of seconds you could lose it. We played one time where 4, doghouse cards were played in a row, and, my whole entire hand was just screwed up. But that's the beauty of it. It's kind of a love-hate relationship. That's the beauty of it. And it makes the game exciting, and something that you just, every hand is different, and you can't really rely on anything, and it's awesome. People they get upset, they 1 second, and then the other second they're loving it, because they just brownie point slap attack a 6-card run, and so it's awesome.
Cool. So you talk about hands changing constantly. How does somebody win the game then?
So winning the game is, once the main deck is gone, the first person to lay out all their cards, get rid of them out of their hand, then it ends that round. And any cards that are left in anybody else's hand is now negative points. And so any cards that you were able to win during that round, you just add them up, and then just put your negative to your positive, and then enter it into the digital scorecard.
Oh, okay. So the deck is kind of like a built-in timer, I guess?
Yeah. So, just built-in timer. As soon as the deck's gone, the round ends, add up your points, and then start a new round.
Cool, Bean. So let's see, I know we're on a podcast, but what would the game, well, I guess not look like, but what would it sound like if me and you sat down to play the game?
Chaos.
Oh, boy.
Basically you get your 5 cards, you look at it, the first player goes in, and when you play, you say what you're playing. So, for example, 2 twos. And the reason that you yell out what you're playing is so that everybody around the table can equally hear it at the same time. Because a lot of times people can't necessarily see the cards on the table when you have a big group of, say, 8 to 10 people. So as soon as you lay them down, then it immediately just keeps going around the table unless somebody has a slap attack, and which happens often. So, for example, you put down 2 4s, I would smack the table and yell, "Brownie points!" and immediately win the hand, and I would start the round. And so that's happening constantly. So, it gets loud, it gets crazy, and that's what makes it fun. Before you know it, 2 hours have passed and you're having a lot of fun.
Cool beans. Yeah, that's awesome. So, and you said your kids helped make it. How old are your kids, if you don't mind us asking?
Yeah, my youngest is 12 and my oldest is 20. So, and I got 2 teenagers in between. So, yeah, I had a lot of help of, to them, what would make it to where they don't get bored. What's exciting to, teenagers playing. And that's the cool thing about this game is, really anybody can play it, at any age level. It's just a matter of, getting the concept of being fast. And so if you can be fast, between hearing what's being played and seeing what's in your hand, anybody can play. We've played people from, 8 years old up to 70 years old, in the same game. And it's awesome. Everybody's going after it. So there's no, advantage of anything. Somebody can't sit down and have an immediate advantage. It just doesn't work that way. The playing field is level for everybody, and that's what makes it a lot of fun.
Cool beans. So you talked about playing with different ages and whatnot. During playtesting, was there ever anything that you had to scrap because it just wouldn't work?
There was a couple things during our development phase that one of them was on the runs. We used to have it to where, if somebody played a 4-card run, for example, say 1, 2, 3, 4, in order to beat it, you had to play a 5-card run. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we scrapped that idea and just made it to where you had to play just a higher run, but the same amount of cards. So, for example, if somebody played 1, 2, 3, 4, you could beat it with a 2, 3, 4, 5. And the reason we did that was to keep the concept of, in the normal part of the game, whatever somebody lays down, for example, 1, 1, they identified that you have to lay down 1 card. So everybody else has to play 1 card. And so to keep that format true, we had to keep the same thing with runs. So whoever played down a run, they identified how many cards you play, and so you could beat it with the same amount of cards, just higher. So that was one of the things that we scrapped was, adding on more cards to the run. And I'm glad that we did it. This keeps the format true to what we started, and it makes it a little more difficult.
Cool. There you go. So let's talk about the part of the game that you're most proud of.
The most proud part is just, the game itself, yes, getting it from ground zero to where we're at is, by far my greatest achievement. But to the game, I think the best element that I love is the brownie point slap attack. I love that element of it. Actually, funny story behind it. A buddy of mine, we were talking about the game, and he came over the next day. I opened the door, and he smacks me on the chest and yells brownie points. And he says, "You need to put that in the game somewhere." And it immediately clicked. I said, absolutely. And it was the element that we were missing. And ever since we put that into the game, it's changed everything. Because no hand is safe now, which is what I wanted. And it just brings an excitement to the game that you never know when it's going to happen, but it happens all the time. And when it does happen, it makes you mad because you're laying down cards with a strategy in hand, but yet somebody screws it up. And so that's what I love about it. The brownie point slap attack is by far my favorite part.
Cool. Are you afraid anybody in their 70s or whatnot playing the game might have a heart attack?
I am fearful of that. I'm afraid of myself having a heart attack, and I'm only 39. So, yeah. And it's funny is in one of my short video clips that I have on our Kickstarter, some people were playing, and there was I believe she's 17, and somebody brownie point slap attacked her, and she screamed. It was pretty funny. So it does happen. It can scare people, which is makes it fun.
Yeah, well, before we sat down, even though I'd watched it before we sat down to interview, I turned on your video or whatnot, and it kind of freaked me out when they screamed brownie points right at the get-go.
Yeah, and when people do it, they're smacking the table nice and loud and screaming it. So it gets riled up, but that's what makes it a lot of fun.
Cool, cool beans. That's awesome. So let's see here. So let's see. Yeah. How did you get into the whole board game scene, or have you always been a card player, or how did you get into card games and board games?
Yeah, so I mean, all growing up, I always played a ton of card games with my friends, and something we always did. I think Monopoly was probably our favorite game growing up. That and Risk. I love the strategy games, and I love games that you gotta think about what you're doing, and also that take a little bit to play. And then as we got married and had kids, we love playing games, so we're always playing games, and it was always something that I wanted to do. I actually have two or three other game ideas that hopefully in the future we'll be able to bring to pass. But it's one of those things that it just finally things clicked, and I had a great idea. The kids and my family, my wife, really helped put it together. And what's interesting, my wife is actually the one that drew all of our Brownie characters. So it really is homegrown and something that we're very proud of.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I imagine since you've been working on the game, you probably haven't got too much time to play anything besides it. But when you are able to play a different game besides Brownie Points, because that'd be cheating, do you have a current favorite game?
Oh man, besides Brownie Points, the game Dalmuti. I don't know if you've heard of that. Dalmuti is one of my favorites because you got to be very strategic with it, and it adds an element to it that you try to strategize your hand and win it. Even though I love Dalmuti, that was one of the things I didn't like about it is the fact that you're stuck with the cards in hand and you got to wait 10 minutes in between your turn. But I love that game. Another game that hot off the press that I like is Exploding Kittens. That's a lot of fun. So yeah, those are probably the two games that we've been playing most lately, other than Brownie Points.
Cool. Dalmuti. I've never heard of that. What can you tell us about it?
So the Great Dalmuti, I've actually had that game for probably 10, 15 years. I don't even know where I picked it up, but it's a great game to play with about 6 to 8 people. There's one the cards are 1 through 12, but there's 1 1, 2 2s, 3 3s, all the way up to 12 12s. And obviously the one card is the best. And it's similar to, this is kind of where we got the idea with Brownie Points is, whatever card is laid down, that's the amount of cards that you have to play, because that's the same strategy in Dalmuti. And so what you're trying to do is there's the Great Dalmuti who's at the head of the table, and he's trying to basically go out first. Whoever goes out first, gets rid of their cards first, wins the game. And you're going around, and so you have to strategize on what cards to play, because you're trying to force out cards from the other players, and but you have to be strategized about it, because when those cards come out, you still got to beat them. So the strategize of that game is partly what we brought into Brownie Points, because that's what I loved about it. But then we added some elements to the Brownie Points game to speed it up. And so, but yeah, if you haven't heard of the Great Dalmuti, I highly recommend it. Search it up on Amazon or something like that, and pick it up.
Cool, and I can leave that all in the show notes as well. I'll make sure I leave everything in the show notes in regard to this. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's see, the Great Dalmuti, is that how you say it?
Yep.
Cool. Ben, then I want to say you talked about Risk back in the day.
Yeah, Risk, man, that's ultimately probably my number one favorite game as a kid. I love the strategizing of placing all of your guys on the map, trying to figure out which ones to take over. So it's one of those games that we love getting together as a group. My brother and a bunch of friends used to get together and play it for hours, and my kids have it on their Xbox, and so we play the digital version of it, which isn't quite the same. I like the dice in my hands and moving my armies, but just the same, we love it, and it's one of those games that I'll always play and always love.
Cool. Yeah, me and my I really like Risk too. I used to always play it as a kid and whatnot, or a teenager. And me and my son will occasionally, if time permits, we like to sit down and play it. I know you probably don't want to say this on a podcast, but maybe you will. What's your strategy? Do you have certain countries you try to take over first off?
Yeah, I would always go for Australia. Because there's only one entrance, and if you can capitalize on that, then you can start moving your armies through Asia. Between that and South America, those are usually my two go-to places.
Cool. Yeah, me too. You said Australia and where?
South America.
Oh boy, yeah. So you're similar to me. Like I like Australia, South America, and then Africa. I think those are the
Yep.
three easiest. But my eldest son, Wizard Leaf, he's 14. He'll go for like the big wigs. He'll go for like Asia and UK, and then he'll end up blowing me out of the water.
Yeah, my kids do the same thing. My son, he loves to go after Asia. I think it's more just to make me upset, but he loves going after Asia, and you know what? He goes after it. He conquers it. He does well, and which usually messes me up. He'll usually take over Australia after a few rounds, and I got to rethink my strategy and probably go after the North America or something.
Yeah, I think last time we played, it's been a little while, so I don't remember fully. But last time we played, he ended up getting me cornered to where I maybe had. Well, he took Australia pretty quick, but I only had like a guy in South America by the time games end or something like that.
Yeah, it goes quick once you get Asia.
Yeah, he was doing pretty good. So yeah, that's cool, really cool. Let's see. So I don't know if you got a chance to listen to any of our podcasts, but the next section on the podcast is called Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about an application, be it on cell phone, tablet, video game, computer, whatever it be. It doesn't have to be related to games, card games, or board games. Is there an application that you use a lot of that we could talk about?
I mean, I'll talk about it. One of my favorite games. I don't play many games on my phone because I stick to the card games and board games with the family. But one game that in my downtime I'll play is Hill Climb. Driving the cars around, the motorcycle around, jumping up, trying to get the coins and doing flips and getting as many points. Growing up, I used to ride, four wheelers, quad runners a lot, and so that game reminds me a lot of going to the sand dunes and whatnot. So I play that game quite a bit. Another application I use the most. I do a lot of productivity stuff and a lot of work things on my phone. So probably nothing that's too interesting to viewers. I use Dropbox a lot and Google Analytics and things like that to track things. Like Upwork and Fiverr and those type of things. But so I don't really have necessarily anything on my phone that's that's probably topic worthy.
Oh, that's okay. Well, a while back ago, we had a designer. He actually talked about a travel application that he used because I guess he travels a lot.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it could be anything. But you talked about what you talked about. What was the first one you talked about? Is a game you play?
Hill Climb.
Hill.
Yeah.
And are you like a little like some kind of sports utility vehicle? I want to say my son possibly plays it.
Yeah, so you can pick up, you can get a little Jeep or a little motocross bike or a tank or something like that, and you got different levels that you can drive on, and you're just trying to get as far as you can on the map, a certain distance so that you can qualify to go the next round. And when you do jumps, you can jump extremely high, and so when you do that, basically what you're trying to do is get as many flips, in as possible, because the more flips you get, the more, points you get. And so I just like it because I like doing the flips with the cars and the motorcycles, and I don't necessarily care about how far I can go. I love seeing my guy do a bunch of flips and stunts on the motorcycle.
Cool. Yeah, I want to say my son does that too. So is that available on Android and iTunes? Do you know?
I just have an Apple, so as far as I'm aware, it's just on iTunes. You could check the Android store. I'm sure they probably have it because it's a pretty well-known game. But I know it's on iTunes.
Yeah, I think that's where he gets it because he plays on his iPad. So let's see. If you own the rights to that application, what would be one thing you would do to fix or improve it, Jared?
One thing I'd do is make it so you can play, with other people. You got to bring the element of the social aspect to it. And so I'd make it to where you have either you can play side by side, or I'd create a leaderboard that you can share with your friends. So as you do play, you can see how you stack up to your friends and which is what we want to do with the Brownie Points card game with our scorecard app. Everybody plays games, and once you're done, you kind of forget about it. This is something I don't want people to forget about. they enter in their score, and it stays there forever. And they can share it on Facebook, whatnot, and they can be proud of the points that they earn. So in a game like this, I would definitely create some type of a worldwide leaderboard that you can compete with.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Cool. It's not something where you create the course. You're just racing. Is that right? Or moving the car or vehicle and flipping and
Yeah,
stuff.
you don't create the course. The course is already predefined, and with the points that you earn, you can buy the next levels. You can't just play on any course. You got to achieve it basically by earning enough points, and then you just go on to the next round. So you don't build any course. I know there's a couple games out there where you can build courses as you go, which is a lot of fun, and that reminds me of the old Nintendo game Excite Bike.
Oh boy, you beat me to it. That's what I was gonna bring up.
Yeah, Excite Bike, that was my favorite game in Nintendo, and I'd sit there all day long building courses with that thing. And I think the number one, thing I would use is that, big long jump, see how far we could go. So
Cool. Yeah, you beat me to it. I was about to bring that up. Cool. Cool beans. So let's see. So that's what you do. Do you know if there's a cost to it or in-app purchases, or is it free application?
it's a free app, but they do have, in-app purchases that you can do to gain points so that you can go to the next levels quicker if you wanted to. Just as a tidbit, to earn points a lot, go to the moon level, because that one, because of the gravity, you can jump extremely high and you can earn points like crazy. So instead of buying in-app stuff, just play the moon for a while and you can earn a couple million points and move on.
Cool. If my son's still playing it, I'll have to tell him because I think I want to say he played it a while back ago. Cool bean. So let's see here. So if per se somebody, because I'll bring this up, I don't know if anybody ever has, hopefully not, but as per se somebody's been falling asleep during the podcast and suddenly awake, they would have fallen asleep not because of your game, but probably because of my voice. They get tired of hearing me after a while. So let's say they didn't run off the road or there's a semi coming at them and they suddenly jolted awake. Why should they take a chance on brownie points, especially with all of the great games that they have available on the Kickstarters?
There are a lot of great games, and that's the cool thing is there's a lot of people out there with great minds and great ideas, and we're one of them. And why you should take a chance on us is because this game is, I can guarantee, is something like you've never played before. It's a great group game, and we're bringing back, I call it the family game night. We're big into family games. A lot of people are losing touch with being together, and teenagers on their phones and whatnot. And so it was important to us to develop a game that was family friendly, that we could bring back, Friday, Saturday night game nights, and get playing cards again. Get people interactive. With this game, everybody's interactive. I promise you, you're going to laugh, together. You're going to have a lot of fun together, and walk away feeling good. And that's what it's about.
Cool. Yeah, that's what the whole I don't know if when you heard about it, if it was when we contacted you or not, but that's what Getting Geeky with Game Relief is all about. We're striving to make the best family gaming podcast with the family, with my kids and whatnot, where on Mondays we do role-playing games that we haven't started yet, but me and my kids and my wife will be playing a role-playing game. And then on Wednesday, where it's Wishlist Wednesdays, where we'll talk to a creator like yourself or somebody in the game industry. And then Fridays will be Family Fridays, or Family Fun Days, where we go ahead and me and my kids will sit down and play a game. We won't play the game on the podcast, but we'll sit down and give our take on the games and whatnot.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the more family games out there, the better. And I think a lot of these games are great, but they're geared toward usually adults, or at least the ones I see. And which is awesome. It has its place, but I'd like to see the family game night come back and make a comeback, and that's what we're trying to do.
For sure, yeah. So that's good. So if you're driving right now or whatever you're doing, go ahead and take a break. Pull off to the side of the road so you don't cause a bunch of accidents, or you'll never be able to earn those brownie points that we talk of. But yeah, go ahead and we'll make sure we leave all this on the show notes so you can go ahead and back that without having to go on the Kickstarters and search it yourself. And so let's see here. Minus coming to your hometown to stalk you, Jared, how would people go about finding you guys?
Yeah, the easiest way to find us is just go to browniepointscardgame.com. That's the easiest thing to remember. Otherwise, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/browniepointscardgame. Obviously, you can go to Kickstarter and just search Brownie Points Card Game. But Brownie Points Card Game, it's an easy thing to remember. So just type that in. Even if you do it on Google, we'll come up number one, and we're easy to find.
There you go. Yeah, I want to say you said it at least 3 or 4 times there, just barely. So yeah, Brownie Points card game. Go ahead and back it on the Kickstarter right now. And so
Absolutely.
one more quick thing for you, Jared. I forgot to ask. I don't know why, but per se, I know you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. But if somebody backs Brownie Points card game, when should they anticipate getting the game? Do you think?
Yeah, so pretending that we're successful in our campaign, the great thing about what we did is we've got our manufacturers and everything ready to go. So as soon as this is backed, we're going to send things straight out to our manufacturers, and we're hoping for an early December delivery in time for Christmas.
Oh wow, in time for Christmas. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Get a new Christmas point, a new Christmas game, a new game for Christmas that you can play straight out of the box. I imagine.
Absolutely. Christmas morning, nothing better than brownie points.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Well, we wanted to thank you for coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. We really appreciate it, Jared.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. You have a good one. Welcome to Kickstarter Corner. Today I'm joined by,
Barbarian.
and you know me, I'm Game Relief. We have a couple of great Kickstarters to bring to you here on the Kickstarter Corner. First off, we wanted to congratulate Scrooge. Scrooge, the board game, by the time you hear this, they will have funded and it'll be over. I don't know if they'll be accepting late pledges or not. You can check them out on the Kickstarters. But then we have some other great ones to tell you about. Let's see here. We have some great ones to tell you about.
Cheese Quest, a tabletop game of tactics and sabotage. Be crafty,
Be crafty, strategic.
and fast. You will split your time between progress and sabotage as you race to return 2 sheets to the nest.
2 cheeses to the nest. Okay, that's great. So that's one of the games, and I had the privilege of interviewing the creator of that a while back ago on our podcast. That was a great interview. Check it out if you haven't heard it already. And I love what they're doing with that game. So they have, at the time of this recording, they'll have about 6 or 7 days left. So check them out on the Kickstarter. We'll make sure we leave notes in the show notes for you. And then we have
Angelblood
Angelblood Publishing.
presents the tabletop RPG game we all want.
After 13 long years, Angelblood, the tabletop RPG, is ready to be unleashed to the masses.
It's time for everyone to be a game changer.
And at the time of this recording, they have $1,340 out of 5,000 raised. They have 35 days to go, so check them out over on the Kickstarters. And we also interviewed this one and had a great turnout as well. So check it out if you haven't heard it. And then let's see here. We also have
Arcade Fighter tabletop, tag team fighting. So you're a team, right?
Yeah, so your team is tag team fighting, 2 to 6 player strategic game that takes the tag team fighting to the tabletop. At the time of this recording, they have about 10 hours to go, so I'm not sure if they're going to make it. Hopefully they will, but if not, look for a relaunch as they still have a little bit to go. I don't know how long will be left, probably a couple hours by the time you hear this. So jump on the Kickstarters and check it out. I love the art, and the idea of the game is taking games like, what's that game you played on the Switch with fighting?
Street Fighter.
It's taking the games like that over to the tabletop, so you're playing with cards, and so that's cool. And then a while back ago, me and Barbarian Leaf started a game. I started watching something on Kickstarter. We haven't got very far into it, but Solar Flare Games is going to be creating Robotech
Force of Arms
in 2018. So look for that from Dave Killingsworth. This is a great thing. It's a movie that's on, it's a TV show of anime from the 1985 that is on Netflix right now at no cost. So yeah, check it out. Well, I guess it costs whatever Netflix charges, so that's good. And I think that was 4 of them. So now we're going to bring, if things work out, we'll bring Princess Leaf on for you guys to hear. Thank you.
Hello, it's Princess Leaf. I'm here joining you. We're going to talk about some Kickstarter games published a little while ago. The Cold Clash War, a role-playing game setting for Savage Wars and RPGs systems based on Robert S. Breen, The Cold Clash War.
Yeah, so they have 1,356 out of 5,000 gold pledged. They have 11 hours to go at the time of this recording, but it'll probably be like a couple hours at least. It'll probably be done, or it might have a couple hours left. So keep an eye out for them. If they don't, hopefully they'll relaunch because that one looks cool. And then we have
Swords and Cells. So Dad actually interviewed the guy
I don't know,
a while ago.
I don't know if we did interview him.
Yeah, the ships can have like this launcher.
Oh no, you're talking about our Vertigos, the game with flying ships. This is something else. They have a contest going on, a giveaway going on at
giveawaygeek.com.
And how close are they, Princess Leaf?
They've pledged $10,000
and
$50 out of pledged goal 30,000, which is their goal. They have 9 days to go. At this recording, you will probably hear it will probably be 7 or 6.
Or probably even 8, because I wanted to apologize to anybody who's still listening. Hopefully we didn't lose you forever. But
friendly shipping in the UK and USA.
Yeah, like I was saying, we want to apologize because we didn't release an episode this morning, but we got 2 to you on Monday, so sorry about that. But yeah, so Swords and Cells, check them out over on the Kickstarters. Like Princess Leaf said, they'll probably have 7 or 8 days to go when you hear this. And then we also have
Forager.
What is this?
Forager?
Okay, Frontier.
The card game. Become the greatest outlaw that ever lived with this awesomely Western card game and collecting nourishment.
By collecting notoriety and bounty.
Yeehaw! And we have the game.
Yeah, they did barely send us a prototype of the game, so we're excited to get that to the table.
They're almost done with their thingy. They only have 20 days to go, and they're mostly pledged out of it. And you get free shipping.
Yeah, free shipping. I don't know if that means worldwide or just the U.S. Anywhere in the world, it says. But I don't know if that's free shipping anywhere in the world. Check them out on the Kickstarters. And then we have, let's see what else we have.
Oh, and just a warning, the paper, the person who packaged it smells awful.
Well, that was a prototype, so I don't know. It just depends, so be careful with that just in case. Now, what else you got?
We have Rooster Rush. Here's a quick joke. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Rooster.
Rooster who?
Rooster had to cross the road.
Why?
To get to the chicken.
Did he make it to the other side?
No, somebody killed him.
Because their coin flipped to the wrong thing. Play this great, exciting game, Rooster Rush, a speedy dexterity predicting game, co-designed by Antoine Baza and Corentin Lebras, 3 to 6 player. Try to cross the road in a mad dash.
And they're past their goal.
Yep, they got $3,633 raised out of 3,000, and they have 3 days to go, so about 2 when you hear this.
1.
Or 2, like I said. It just depends on the editing. We had some issues last time. Hopefully we won't have them this time. So go ahead and back them on the Kickstarters, and we will catch you
on the flip side. Also, we need to thank our Patreons.
Oh boy, every time. She won't let me forget. So thank you to Princess Lee for not letting us forget you guys on the Patreon.
First is Jennifer Longworth, Ronald Gagnon.
We have Ronald Gagnon, and then who else do we have?
Ethan Ireland.
Ethan Ireland. We're memorizing these people. We're memorizing these.
I don't know the other guys, though.
Well, we're going to find out. We also have Onks. I don't even know how to say that. We got Axel Mercedio, and then we got
somebody at everythingboardgames.com.
Dane over at everythingboardgames.com. So thank you to our Patreons. Go ahead and check us out over at patreon.com.
Yeah. Also, be our Patreon and pay $4 a month.
Or $1 a month. That's what most people do.
4.
I don't know, but let's see.
And we'll be rich.
I don't know if we'll be rich. But yeah, go ahead and check us out on patreon.com. Show your support if you like what you're hearing. Even if you don't like what you're hearing, show us what we can do better on Patreon. We're almost, I wanted to tell you something, Princess Leaf. Over at our Facebook page of Getting
Why don't
Geeks.
you tell the viewers?
Well, you're here. We'll tell both of you. So, as I was saying before, Princess Leaf cut me off. Some exciting news. Over on our Facebook page of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, we have almost 500, 500 likes and almost 500 followers. We have, at the time of this recording, we had 489 likes and 495 people following. So we're almost at 500. So go ahead and like us on Facebook.
And we'll have a big celebration too. Okay, so can you go to your YouTube channel?
Okay, she wants me to go to my YouTube channel. So if you're following along, you can go to my YouTube channel too if you want, but you don't have to. Let's see here. Remember I told you it was youtube.com/c/gamer with a capital G, and then
Gamer Leaf.
yeah, and then capital Leaf, Leaf. So it's, like I said, youtube.com/c/big G AMER big LEAF. And that'll get you to us on the YouTubes, and I don't know why, but Princess Leaf wanted us to go here.
Okay, how many likes and subscribe people do we have?
Well, on YouTube, we have 661 subscribers, Princess Leaf.
When we get to 1,000, we're going to have a big celebration.
Are we? This is news to me. Well, you heard it here first on...
Because everybody we like J House, and the Passengers, and Bonnie Hona, and Brooke and Bailey, and a bunch of channels Dad doesn't know about, and Tic Tac Toy. They do a big celebration when they hit 1,000 subscribers.
Do they? Well, you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief.
So we'll keep you updated on that.
Yes.
Give us a bunch of money.
What? I don't know. Just pay no attention to the little girl in the background. But yeah, so check them out over on the YouTubes, and also check out our friend Josh Burrell he's actually known as Logan Chops on the YouTube. He just did a great video he did one for Rooster Rush, so if you don't want to back that, or if you don't know anything about it, check them out. There's a Rooster Rush video, and he also did, what's that, a new one about Miley, let's see, what is it, Teeny, it leaves me now, but check him out. Well, actually, we can go there. Can't we go there, Princess Leaf?
Check him out on whatever YouTube channel he has.
Well,
don't mind the background.
Yeah, we got the kids yelling in the background. Okay, yeah, Logan Chops, he just did one on Shadow Strike Melee by Pure Fun Games, who's launching a Kickstarter on the 1st of November, and we'll make sure that we go ahead and review that too, because they actually sent us the game too. How nice of that was over at the people over at Pure Fun Games. It's got to be pure fun, nothing but pure fun. So he's got a review of that, and he'll also be doing Frontier, the card game, as we will as well. Hopefully we can get those up on our YouTube channel. Hopefully you like. So yeah, he just passed us in subscribers because he has 684 subscribers, while we have a measly 661. Let's make this a competition. Can we get more YouTube subscribers than Logan Chops? I don't know. Why don't you check us out? We have our podcast there. We have 1 or 2 videos. But Logan Chops, he had a lot more videos, but not as many podcasts. So you be the judge, and we will listen to you. Now, let's see. I think that's all we have to ramble on and on about. I hope you like our show. If you do, go ahead and give us a likes on. Go ahead and subscribe, as well as give us a review over on iTunes.com, Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Those really help from what I hear, so go ahead and give us a like, and go ahead and subscribe and give us a review.
But don't sell electronics from your family, friends, or somebody you don't even know, because Game Relief said you have to get your people with electronics and get into our
iTunes. If they have an iTunes account and you don't, use theirs. They'll be happy, because then they won't have to review it after. Yeah, because they won't have to review it after they listen to it and see how great it is. So this has been Getting Geeky with Game Relief.
We also did an episode on Life of Dogs. Go check that out.
Yeah, on our YouTube channel. You can check out when we open the box.
I'm on it.
Yeah, you'll hear Princess Leaf. So yeah, go check it out, and go ahead and have a good week, and we'll catch you on the...
You'll catch us on the flip side.
Game Relief out.
Getting Geeky with Game Relief out!
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.